Final notice to Lara Croft, current tenant of premises. This is to serve as your final notice for the purposes of terminating your ownership of Croft Manor. You are required to immediately vacate and surrender possession of said manor to Atlas de Mornay, executor of estates.
Lara, it is unfortunate that you have forced my hand in this matter, but so be it. As you know, your parents appointed me executor of the estate in the event of their absence. Since your mother disappeared, her death was never technically declared. And given the circumstances surrounding your father's death, it's no surprise that he never drafted a formal last will and testament to account for this circumstance. Unfortunately, you have no legal claims to the estate. I'm willing to negotiate a modest monthly stipend from your trust, but only if you leave the manor by week's end. Don't fight me on this, Lara. Your mother wouldn't want that. Sincerely, Atlas.
There has to be a will or some kind of evidence of what happened to Mum in the manor, somewhere. Dad's safe.
Check it out.
Needs a combination. It's got to be in Dad's papers somewhere. Maybe in the library. My birthday crown. I was so proud of that thing.
My birthday crown is so proud of that thing.
That's my handwriting. My penmanship was pretty good.
My handwriting penmanship was pretty good.
Well, this is a hell of a thing. I met someone tonight, quite unexpectedly. But it shouldn't have been, it seems. I've been so buried in my work, so distracted by my latest revelations, I never bothered to notice my surroundings. But there she was, sitting at my table in the library. Her name is Amelia. And apparently she's been studying right next to me. Art history, of all things. I shared some of my research against my better judgment, but I wanted to see how she would respond. And she did not disappoint. I felt as if I was suddenly engaged in a mental game of chess, moving and counter-moving in argument. At one point, that poor old librarian had to shush us as if we were children. I feel so foolish for not having noticed her earlier. She's a brilliant woman who's challenged my ideas for the first time in memory. In truth, I don't know if she's feeling as exhilarated as I am right now, but I dare say our conversation was mutually stimulating. For the first time in a long time, I find myself thinking about something else besides my research. I hope she returns for another round tomorrow.
Oh. Always knew that my parents all met in Oxford, but never jumped senses. Just like my dad's argument mythology as a way to flirt. But this is one hell of a thing. I met someone tonight. It's funny decidedly, but it shouldn't have been, it seems. I have been so buried in my work, so distracted in my last revelations, and never bothered to notice my surroundings. But there she was, sitting at the table in the library. Her name is Amelia, and apparently she's been studying right next to me. Art history of all things. I shared some of my research against my better judgment, but I wanted to see how she would respond. She does not disappoint. As fellows is suddenly engaged in a mental game of chess, moving, countering, and moving an argument. Counter-moving an argument. At one point, the poor old librarian had shushed us as we were children. I was so foolish not to notice her earlier. She's a brilliant woman who's challenged my ideas for the first time in memory. In truth, don't know if she's feeling as exhilarated as I am right now, but I dare say the conversation was mutually stimulating. For the first time in memory, a long time, I found myself thinking of someone else besides my research. I hope she returns for another round tomorrow.
My parents made a good team, challenging each other from the start. Dad would have liked me to go to Oxford, but I insisted on UCL.
Dad would like me to go to Oxford and insisted to go to UCL.
Yep, looks real. Roth once offered to forge me a fake diploma to show Dad.
Yep, looks real. Roth once offered to forge me a poem to show Dad.
A picture with Dad and Anna.
Picture with Dad and Anna.
Never liked wearing dresses, but the color was nice.
Never liked wearing dresses, but the color was nice.
This is probably my grandfather Benjamin.
This was probably my grandfather Benjamin.
Dad's map of the forgotten cities of northern Syria.
That's map of the forgotten cities of northern Syria.
He was closer than he knew to finding the Prophet's tomb.
He was closer than he knew to finding the Prophet's tomb. Nope.
Dad's book about immortality myths might be useful in my research.
Dad's books about immortality myths might be useful in my research.
One of Dad's Yoruba masks, a gift from a friend he met on an expedition in Nigeria.
One of the Dad's Yoruba masks, a gift from a friend met an expedition in northern Syria.
The door to the library. Locked. There's got to be another way through. This is the map I made for my first expedition with Dad. It shows a path to the library through the servants' passages.
This is the map I made for the first expedition with Dad. It shows a path to the library through the servants' passages.
Too dark. Going to need a flashlight. Well, hello there, Sir Lancelot. Don't worry, I won't be boring your sword this time.
Hi, Dad. I've been thinking about Mum lately. I wish I knew more about her. How did you meet? What was she like? Winston told me that she was a brilliant artist. Are some of her paintings locked up in the West Wing? And I guess I just want to know, did she love me, Dad? Did she ever say that she did? Maybe I'm just being silly, but will you tell me more about her the next time I'm home from school?
It's so hard that Dad to talk about Mom. My dad have been thinking about Mom lately. We should talk a little more about her. How'd you guys meet? What was she like? Winston told me that she was a brilliant scientist. The paintings in the West Wing, and I guess I just wanted to know: did she love me, Dad? Did she ever say that? And she did. Maybe I'm just being silly. But will you tell me? Will you tell me more about her the next time I'm home from school?
The Grand Hall. Always loved playing in here as a kid. This will be one of the first things to fix. A phoenix figurine. I bet this appealed to Dad's idea of immortality, of rising from the ashes and being born anew.
Phoenix figurine, I bet it appealed to Dad's idea of immortality, of rising ashes and being born anew.
Lara, you know the West Wing is off limits.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to see.
We've been through this.
Was Mum's room in here?
Just stay out of there, darling.
Dad was always so protective of the West Wing.